Every mind is a fabric, woven and threaded together by the people you trusted most, inside your own head. And just when you think you're in control of your choices, you're not. Not yet. There is a thread inside you that connects every person to you. Every time they say something, even something you deep down know could be false, you believe it. Because that voice is so familiar, your brain stopped asking questions a long time ago. And when they pull away, when the silence comes and they stop reaching back, you feel it somewhere physical. Something in the chest that sits there and never moves. Here's what changes everything, that gut feeling. Science can locate it in your brain. But the moment you understand how it works, you can read every lie you've ever been fed. Every silence, every pull you didn't know was there. You'll see the threads, and for the first time, you'll be the one holding them. This is not a video about being manipulated. It's about finally seeing the craft. Why familiar voices? Every time. There is a particular kind of grief that comes not from losing someone, but from realizing they were never quite who you believed them to be. A family member, a parent, a sibling you spent your whole childhood reading, and still somehow misread. Someone whose voice was so woven into the fabric of your daily life that you stopped questioning what it said. You just absorbed it, filed it under. True. That is not a weakness. That is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Your brain is not a truth detector. It is an efficiency engine. It ranks information not by accuracy, but by how easy it is to process. Psychologists call this processing fluency. The smoother something slides through your mind, the more your brain stamps it as true. This is the engine behind the illusory truth effect. The more you hear something from a familiar voice, the more real it starts to feel. Repetition doesn't reinforce a message, it transforms it. And here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Over time, your brain doesn't just believe the repeated message, it forgets where it came from. The source disappears. The idea stays, woven into your thinking, as if it were always yours. What someone else planted, a parent's offhand comment about who you are, a family belief about what you're capable of, quietly becomes something you think you thought up yourself. Their thread, your conviction. You never even saw the handoff. The people closest to you are the most repeated voices in your life, not the most honest, the most familiar. And your brain cannot tell the difference between the two. Their voices were woven into you so early, so consistently, that the fabric feels original, like it was yours to begin with. Every environment you grow up in feeds you a version of reality. The same ideas, the same assumptions, the same unspoken rules. On a loop. Each loop, your brain whispers, "This must be true. I have heard this before." You think you are forming your own understanding of the world. You are mostly just being re-exposed to the same threads, worn into a shape that feels like yours. The most persuasive voice in your life isn't the loudest. It's the one you've heard the most. But the trust glitch is only half the story, because when that familiar voice goes quiet, when it withdraws, when it stops reaching back altogether, what happens next in your body is not emotional. It is something far more primal than that. Why silence feels like a wound. There is a particular kind of pain that has no obvious wound. You are not bleeding. Nobody raised their voice. Nothing broke in any visible way, but something tore. Picture yourself in a room full of people you know, a family gathering, a group of friends, somewhere that should feel easy. You say something, and the conversation just continues. No one responds, no one turns, as if the thread of your voice had been cut from the room's fabric before you had even finished speaking. You smile, you find a corner, you hold your breath and wait for it to pass. But you carry the weight of that silence for decades. In every room you enter afterward, in every moment you almost speak, and then decide not to. The fabric of your brain is telling you that there is a tear. Something is being ripped apart inside of you that feels like a wound. Researchers at UCLA discovered that when people are socially excluded or ignored, the brain activates the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. The same region that fires during physical pain. Not a similar region, the same one. The experience of being left out is neurologically indistinguishable from being physically hurt. Your brain was built in a world where being ignored by your tribe was a death sentence. No group meant no food, no shelter, no survival. That ancient alarm system is still running inside you. It has never been updated. The threads of belonging were woven into our biology long before we had language for them. So when someone goes quiet, when a room goes around you instead of with you, your nervous system doesn't register it as social rejection. It registers a threat and responds with the full intensity of something that, 10,000 years ago, would have been exactly that. You were never overreacting. Your brain was doing its job in a world that no longer exists. The silence isn't just uncomfortable. To your brain, it is a tear in the fabric, an alarm that has not been silenced since the Stone Age. And while your brain is busy running Stone Age code in a modern world, it is simultaneously doing something else, deciding who you trust, who you believe, and who you forgive, without your knowledge, without your consent. Why your judgment is already made before you know it. Think of someone you have known, a mentor, a teacher, an elder in a community, who carried themselves with complete certainty, confident, measured, the kind of person who spoke and rooms leaned in. You probably believed most of what they told you before they finished the sentence, not because you examined the evidence, because the presentation was flawless. The thread of their authority was so tightly woven that questioning it felt wrong, like pulling at something that might unravel everything else. This is the halo effect. Psychologist Edward Thorndike identified it over a century ago. One trait that shines: composure, authority, a particular kind of presence, and your brain fills in every blank in that person's favor without waiting for evidence. The possibilities of who they might be collapse into who you have already decided they are. And here is the twist. When these polished, authoritative figures make a small, human mistake, stumble on a word, admit a gap in their knowledge, they become more compelling, not less. The imperfection creates a crack in the perfection, and your brain rushes toward it like light through a window. Suddenly, they feel real, safe, trustworthy. The small tear in the fabric is what makes you believe the whole garment is genuine. You can spot this in everyone around you. You see, when someone is charmed by confidence, when a colleague defends a figure purely because of how they carry themselves, you can diagnose their blind spots from across the room. This is the bias blind spot, and research confirms the more intelligent you believe yourself to be, the stronger this blind spot becomes. The people most certain they are objective are, statistically, the least objective in any room. And the thought forming right now, the one that sounds like, well, that's everyone else. That thought is the blind spot working exactly as designed. You can see everyone else's halo. You just can't see the one your brain placed on you. So your brain trusts familiar voices, registers silence as a mortal threat, and builds halos before it has a single reason to. But the most unsettling part, the story you tell yourself about all of this, the memories you rely on to understand your choices, those aren't as solid as you think. Why your memory is not what you think it is. Ask almost anyone in a family about a shared memory, a holiday, an argument, a moment that changed everything, and you will get different stories. The same afternoon, the same room, the same people. And yet each person's thread of it runs in a different direction. Somebody remembers warmth. Somebody remembers tension. Somebody remembers something being said that, according to everyone else, never happened. This is not because one of them is lying. It is because memory is not a recording. It is a fabric, woven and rewoven every time it is touched. Every time you access a memory, your brain doesn't press play. It reconstructs from fragments, filling gaps with your current emotions, current beliefs, and the most recent version of the story you have told. The moment reconstruction is complete, it saves back over the original, like refolding that letter along slightly different creases over and over. until the original fold lines are gone. This is called memory reconsolidation. Your clearest, most vivid, most often told recollections have been quietly rewoven every single time you remembered them. The rewritten details feel exactly as real as the true ones. To your brain, there is no difference. The false thread blends seamlessly into the original pattern. The story you carry about who you are, where you came from, and why you made the choices you did. That story has been edited over and over by a narrator who rewrites a little each time they sit down. The possibilities of who you might have been, who you might still become, are sometimes hidden inside threads your memory quietly altered years ago. You are not remembering your life. You are narrating it, and the narrator changes with every draft, quietly retelling the fabric of who you are. The version of your past you remember most clearly is the one your brain rewrote most recently. You are the architect, and you can become the one who holds the threads. You started this video thinking you were in control. By now, you might be feeling something between discomfort and wonder. Good. That is exactly the right place to land. Because here is what all of it, the illusory truth effect, the pain of silence, the halo effect, the blind spot, the rewritten memories, what all of it is actually saying. Underneath the science, underneath the fabric of all of it, you are not broken. You are not being controlled. You are running extraordinarily sophisticated software on hardware, built for a world that no longer exists. And now, for the first time, you have been handed the loom. When that familiar voice lands like fact, pause and ask, is this true or just well rehearsed? Has this thread been woven in so long, it feels like it was always mine? When silence triggers a spiral, name it. Stone Age alarm, modern inconvenience. When you are certain you are the most clear-eyed person in the room, look harder, not softer. When a memory arrives in perfect confidence, hold it loosely. The narrator has been busy. The fabric has been rearranged. None of this removes your choices. It deepens them. Threads you can actually see, possibilities you can actually reach for. The illusion of control is only an illusion until you understand what is behind it. The moment you see the threads, all of them, you are not the puppet anymore. You are the one who finally picked them up. The most powerful thing about human psychology is not that it controls you. It is the understanding, that quiet, electric moment of seeing clearly, that hands the possibilities back. And those were the psychological facts that exposed the fabric of human behavior and handed you the evidence that you are not a puppet, but a weaver. If you found this video interesting, then you must subscribe to the channel and like the video, so you can go deeper into the human mind, its wonders, and open the door to possibilities with us. Question everything. Think deeper, and I will see you on the next one.